Everyone and their mom has recommended the G502 at some point. 21 plus million sold, people soldering theirs back to life, a whole community around one mouse. So I bought the latest version and dug into what the community actually thinks, because there's real stuff to love about this mouse and there's stuff people just keep repeating because they heard someone else say it. And if you can't tell which is which, you're gonna make the same mistake next time you buy any peripheral, doesn't really matter. And it all starts in 2014 when this thing had the market to itself. So in 2014 the mouse market had options. That adder was great for shooters, SteelSeries rivals, Sensei, Zoe, FK and EC, all good FPS mice. And that's all they did, a shape and a sensor and nothing else. On the other side you had MMO mice, Naga, G600, covered in buttons, useless for aiming. And if you play shooters and also did work on your PC or played some MMOs on the side, you just picked one and dealt with it. There was nothing that did all of it. Then the G502 showed up. Best sensor available at the time, zero smoothing, zero acceleration, actual clean tracking. 11 buttons, adjustable weights, surface calibration, onboard memory. $80. The rival had a good sensor and a good shape, so did the dead adder. Neither of them had any of the other stuff. The G502 didn't beat them at FPS, it beat them at everything else while still being decent at FPS. And then the loop started. YouTubers recommended it, Redditors recommended it, your friend who knows about this stuff recommended it. That loop was built on something real though. In 2014 there was generally nothing else doing what the G502 did at that price. The question is, what happened after that? Now I bought the G502 X Lightspeed, the latest version, wireless, to test it myself. Now the shape is great, Logitech refined the original for the X, wider rear, moved the sniper button, cleaned it up. But what makes all of this work is the thumb rest. There's a ledge on the left side that locks in your hand, and most mice just don't have this. For long work session your hand sits there and it just doesn't move at all. That part by far is one of the best things that I've ever experienced on a mouse. Now build quality on the older version, people ran the same G502 for 6, 7, 8 years. The scroll wheel, it has two modes, free spin and controlled click step. What almost nobody talks about though is you can tilt it also left and right, and it works like a horizontal scroll. I edit a lot of videos and scrubbing through a timeline sideways with a scroll wheel is generally super useful. Now the only problem is on click step mode, this sounds like a machine gun. Whole house can hear this shit. If you don't need the latest version, the G502 Hero goes for about $38 right now. At that price, for someone who works at their PC and games casually on the side, there's almost nothing that touches it. So overall sounds like a pretty easy recommendation, but there's a reason this mouse is also the most argued about peripheral online. So what's actually wrong with it? On the older model, especially the Hero, the switches had a double click issue. You click once, register twice, pretty simple. But this was everywhere, and there's like a whole scene online of people that actually open up their G502 and solder in new switches to keep using it. Now on the X Lightspeed that I have, it's kinda fixed. It has like light force hybrid switches, double click thing is basically gone. Now let's talk also weight. The original was 121 grams, the X brought that down to 100 wireless. Now this sounds like a big drop until you realize competitive mice in 2026 sit at 50, 55 grams, even like 20 grams. They cut the weight and it's still almost double what the other side of the market offers. Now for work, of course, you don't even care about that. For competitive shooters, that gap is not something you can ignore. Now here is what is still a problem on the X that I have right now. Polling rate. This is locked at 1000 Hz. Now mice in 2026 are running at 4000 and 8000. For casual use and work, you don't really care about this that much. Next is the buttons. Now 11 buttons is like super great when I'm working, mega useful for productivity shortcuts, but in a shooter they kinda get in a way, and I mean by a lot. It's like too much stuff under your thumb, you hit something in a clutch moment you didn't mean to hit. It's a work layout basically that gets sold as a gaming feature. Stock fit, I ripped mine off day one. I use a glass pad and these feel like a cheap tape from a hardware store. Even if I would use a cloth pad, I would not really use this at all. And then there's the thing they removed. Now the original G502 had a modular weight system. Little metal weights you can add or remove. And that was the one feature that no other mouse had at that point. And the thing that made the G502 the G502. And on the X it's gone. They took it out to hit the lower weight. Whether there's like a fair trade depends on who you ask. Because a lot of people actually wanted to add more weight to a mouse. When it comes to weight, this is kind of weird, but at the end of the day it's all preference. If you want like a brick in your hand, yeah. So the X fixed some real problems. But the market they're competing in moved way faster than Logitech adjusted the mouse. So let's talk about the hybrid problem. The G502 whole pitch from day one was one mouse that does everything. And in 2014 that was the smartest thing you could buy because nothing else pulled it off. Now the market in 2026 doesn't work like that anymore. Gaming mice got so specialized and so good that the gap between a dedicated gaming mouse and something that tries to do everything is massive right now. You can get a wireless mouse at 40 grams with 4K or or 8K polling rate for like $35 to $60. And on the productivity side, there's things like MX Master 4, which overall are much more appreciated and better for the work thing. Now the hybrid went from being the smartest buy to being stuck in the middle. Not the best at gaming, not the best at work, decent at both. And decent at both used to be enough. But the stuff on either side got too good and too cheap. So who is this for in 2026? Now if you work from home and you sit at your PC all day and you game casually in the evening, single player stuff, some chill multiplayer, nothing where you need to be sweating over your aim, the G502 Hero at $38 is honestly one of the best things you can buy. Now if you're the same type of person but you want wireless and you want the improvements they made on the X, the G500X is a solid pick. Just know what you're paying for. You're paying $130 to $160 for comfort and versatility. If you play competitive shooters, Valorant, CS2, Apex, anything where your aim matters, this is not your mouse. At any price, I don't really care. The weight is too high, the polling rate is a generation behind, and there are mice built specifically for what you need that cost half as much. Now if you already own the G502 and you're happy with it, just keep it. The market moving doesn't mean your mouse stopped working. It means the recommendation to buy a new one changed. Now the G502 sold more than 21 million units. People built a community around it. It earned its reputation, just not all of it. So what was the first gaming mouse you ever owned? Drop it in the comments, I'm actually curious, and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this and check out these next videos.